Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Now, before I get into the recap, I do want to say that I did finish the week with 15 wins, 4 losses for a win rate of 78.95% for the week. It's below my weekly goal of 80%. So, but being a short week, I'm quite satisfied with the results. So, usually on short weeks, I don't do as well for some reason, but I did pretty good this week. So, I'm definitely happy about that. Now, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with that said, we'll get into the video and get into the week. So, remember, this was a short week. We had Thursday off for Thanksgiving, and then we had Friday, which was half a day. So, let's see, Monday, I took Disney calls right at open. Now I get the hourly on the left, I get the 10-minute on the right. No, let's see, where is Monday, the 22nd? Yeah, right here. Now, let's see, in the Trade Ideas channel, if you're unfamiliar with the Trade Ideas channel, every morning I post 2 or 3 ideas at open, things to watch. And if they hit, they hit. They don't, they don't. And I just wait for a better opportunity. I do not like to put out a bunch of things. The average person cannot watch 5 to 10 things. I really hate seeing people say, watch these 10 tickers. And who can watch 10 tickers at once? I mean, come on, really. So I keep it realistic, 2 to 3. Once in a great while, I might put a 4th, but that's very, very rare. I think I've only done that once or twice. But usually keep it 2 to 3 of my favorite. And grab those if it breaks the levels or the area I'm looking at. But on let's see, the 22nd, I said PayPal calls over 196, Snap calls over 52, and Disney calls over 155. So I did get over the 155. I think I grabbed it a little early in that. Sometimes what I like to do is I put these levels like at 155, because if it just immediately takes off out of the gate, that's the level I'm watching. But if it dips down like right here, okay, this is where I came up with a 155 level right here on the pre-market. So if it just opened up right at open, if it just started going up on open, then I would have taken it at 155. But because it dropped right here and it came back up, I look at it again right here. That's how I usually play these, because to me, if it drops this much and you wait for that 155 level, it's going to end up already have a pretty decent run already. But if it does drop at open, when I give out the levels, I readjust my level to like right here, like pre-market open range candle right here, 154.5. That's where I've taken it. So I did take the 155 calls at $1.51, and they did go to $1.85 in that little pop right there. Now, you get spoiled at SPX, and when you have stocks like Disney and Snap or whatever, they only run 30, 40 cents. It doesn't really seem like much when you're having SPX run 100, 200, 300% all the time, and these $2, $3 moves you get out of SPX, it just seems really pitiful that you get these 30 cents out of Disney and stuff like that. But it is what it is. You get spoiled with SPX, and we'll get into that in a second, because that is the next one. Actually, I had a swing before I took SPX puts. I had, I think it was Snap. Let me just double check. Yeah, I had Snap 50 calls at $1.13. Let's pull up Snap, get that out of the way. Yeah, let's get it right here. Now, it did dump. Make sure I get the right data, 22nd. I did dump right here. It started to look like it was getting a bottom right here, and I was thinking at this point in time that $50 is a big level, and I don't think it's going to stay under 50, and I grabbed it right here, and it dumped but I held on to it, think, it's a big level. It's probably gonna. I doubt it's gonna stay under 50, and then the next day it popped. I mean, I swang it. I mean, I wasn't really in that big, but I just, to me, $50 was a big level for Snap, and then it did finally pop up. So the next day it did pop, got over 50, so went as high as 51. And those 50 calls, like I had at $1.13, went to $1.56. Nothing really substantial. I mean, you're talking 43 cents. I mean, that's not much, especially when you're doing like SPY and stuff like that. So yeah, I did swing those. $50 seemed like a pretty big level for Snap. Where did it end up? See, it's still, even at the end of the day, Friday, with the market taking a big dump on Friday, it still stayed right around that $50 level. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Snap ends up bouncing this week. So I do have that on my watch list for a bounce. So we'll have to see if that does that or not. Next we have a bunch of SPX plays. Now, if you're new, I don't chart SPX because there's no VWAP. Let's see, the 22nd right here. I grabbed SPX puts at 1029, which is right here, right up at the top. 1029 right here, right before it took this massive plunge. I was looking at it from the point of view, let's see, where is Monday? Right here. This Monday right here, yeah, it is. I was just looking at it from the point of view, it's 470 to 473. That's a $3.50 move right there. And when the candles, you got these large green candles right here. And usually what ends up happening is when you get these large green candles, if you start getting smaller candles like this, you end up seeing a reversal. So, I was just thinking, okay, it's going to end up dropping here. And I actually kind of nailed the top on that. And they did these 47.30 puts. I got at $2.25, went to $27 if you held all the way through that massive dump right here. So this was a really nasty dump right there. And I grabbed, let's see. I grabbed calls. Now this is where I tried to grab calls right here, 1120 now. The puts, if you held all the way through this massive move, was 1,100%. So that went from $2.25 to $27. But I was looking at it from the point of view that 9 out of 10 times when stock gets price gets away from the moving average, which is the blue line, that it usually ends up bouncing. So I'm not surprised that it dropped a lot more because this was obviously news related. I don't remember what it was, but when it hits the 20 EMA, I'm expecting a little bit of a bounce. I was actually expecting a bounce to like 473 or something, a little bigger bounce than that, and it didn't. So I took the 47.40 calls at $1.70, and they started to bounce, started to look good. As you can see right here, it dropped quite a bit. Then when it bounced off the 200 EMA, or you can even say pre-market lows, 469. But the point is that it got far away from the blue 20 EMA, came back up and retested it, and then dropped a little. I was expecting this kind of a move to happen right here, and it didn't happen. It just flushed. So that ended up being, I think that was loss number 1 for the week. So then I ended up grabbing calls again. I grabbed the 47.40 calls at 11:59 noontime. Now, this is where I grabbed it right here. And one of the things I always look at is that when you have these large red nasty candles, I mean, you're looking right here, 471.50 to 469.20. I mean, we'll round down to 469. So you're talking a $2.50% move right there and 1 10-minute candle. That's usually a daily range. I mean, this candle is the range of this day right here. And when you have these nasty red candles like that, they end up retracing at least 50% of the move. So when it did dump this hard, I did grab the calls. I did grab the 42.20 calls at $2.35. And this little retracement, they went to 410. Then I ended up grabbing them again at The same ones, the 4720 calls at 1226, which is right here in the same candle right there. So, excuse me. I got this right here. I'll break it down in a smaller time frame so you can see. I don't look at the 3 minute, but I'm just doing it for the purposes of so you can understand. Like this is the, I'll switch this over to 10 minute just for the time being. Okay. This is the 10 minute candle right here I'm talking about. So I grabbed it at, the first one was at what, 11:59, which is right here. Right off, actually there's no RCT trend line on the 10 minute one, but it was right at the pre-market low in that long red candle. So I was buying close to the bottom for a little retracement right here, and I did get that. Obviously went from 235 to 410. Then I got it again at 1226, which is right here, the double bottom. So I'm thinking, okay, we're already dropped 473.50 back down to 469-ish. So we're already dropped, you know, almost $4.50. I don't think it's going to drop that much more. I think that it's pretty much going to bounce. The fact that it double bottomed off pre-market low and it came back down and bounced again, and then actually ended up bouncing from the double bottom right here. So technically a triple bottom if you want to count the pre-market, well, quadruple if you want to count that candle too. But whatever. The point being is that when it came back down here again, it bounced. So that's when I ended up grabbing the 4720 calls at 220, and they went from $2.20 to $12.20 if you held all the way through. So caught that move pretty good. Nailed the top, nailed the bottom. Can't complain. Seems pretty. Hold on, let me bring it back up. Seemed like I did a really good job on that day, nailing the top, nailing the bottom. Sometimes I struggle with either or, but I really seem to do pretty well on these long, exaggerated, extreme candles right here. And I didn't even touch this. I mean, I shut up, but I don't know. And I'm already traded 5 times a day, 1 loss. So I'm trying not to trade too much, especially during a short week. Statistically, I don't usually do that well. But yeah, that was a very good day on Monday. So then I already covered Snap. I sold Snap on Tuesday. I already went over that. But on, let's see, Trade Ideas channel Tuesday morning, I said Roku calls over 234, Facebook calls over 341, Disney calls over 154.50. Facebook did get over this area, and what did I say? 341. Actually, I got the wrong day here. 341. Yeah, that was pre-market. I did get a little early. I got it at 9:43. Same thing as I did before. I had the level right here. 341 was basically right here. I rounded up a little. Same thing happened. It didn't pop and break that level in the first 10-minute candle. It dropped down, and then I readjusted it to right here. I do that a lot, and so I ended up grabbing the 350 calls at $1.43, and they went from $1.43 to $1.77. So got a little bit of a move, but I like to readjust on these type of plays because when they drop, sometimes they end up making a J hook, but this time I ended up making an inverted J hook. So that's why you need to take your money when you're green and don't hold and hope for a large move. You're not going to get these large moves on these stocks. You know, I mean, Facebook you could, but you just never know if it's going to trade in a small range or not. So when you're up, just start reducing risk and stuff like that. So then I end up having Target. Let's see, Target on the 23rd. Right here. Was it the 23rd? This is the 23rd. No, it's 22nd. I had Target calls at 10:42, which is right here. I said, didn't say anything about Target. Well, anyways, chopped around right here. I was actually watching Target because this was it before this Monday right here. Yeah, I was actually watching it for it to bounce right here, but it dumped Monday. So when it made these inside candles right here at the end of the day on the hourly on Monday, so I was actually watching this level. So when it came back down and just chopped around, Target's one of these stocks. It doesn't care what SPY is doing. It will just, in fact, it actually does better when SPY is dumping. So yeah, at least 250 calls at 123 went to 185, and that push right there. So you got to learn these. That's why I always say learn a few stocks and get used to how they move and how they react to SPY and how they react to news and stuff like that. Certain stocks like Target, Costco, Roku, they don't care what SPY is doing. If SPY can dump and it will go up. Roku has been a real crapshoot the last few weeks, and market dumped hard on Friday, and Roku didn't care. Roku gapped up and it held. So you just got to be aware which stocks do well and don't care what SPY doing and what SPY is doing. So you got to be aware of those particular stocks, and you just then you have to be aware of which ones move well with SPY. So if SPY dumps, it dumps with it usually, like Apple and Facebook and Disney and stuff like that. So that's why you gotta get familiar with at least a few stocks and just focus on them. And I watch about 12 of them. I have 12 of them up on my charts, but I'm so familiar with these names. I know which ones are going to react to SPY and which ones aren't. So stuff like that. Then I had, speaking of SPY is the next one on Tuesday. I had SPY calls. I was actually very surprised Tuesday was not an expiration day, but let's see, SPY on Tuesday right here. I took SPY calls at 246, it looks like, which is right here. Popped up, dropped back down. It started going sideways. It just, started making higher lows right here. Low, higher low, higher low. So it's making it like an ascending triangle, more of like a symmetrical triangle if you want to look at it that way. But you can say flattened right here and it's pushing up. So you can make a case for either or. But either way, once I get over VWAP, that's what I was looking at. I even said SPY calls over 467. And that was at what time? Let's see what the time is on that. Why isn't my time showing? Time's not showing on my... Oh, there it is, 2:06. And I placed a call at 2:46. So you had 40 minutes to decide what you wanted to do. Right here, it looked like 2:06. So yeah, this is right here where I thought it was going to break right in here, and then it dropped and it finally came up. So yeah, they went from $1 to $1.84. I went in the money, well, at the money at this particular time. So they did pretty good. So it's kind of a boring day on Tuesday. Then Wednesday we had FOMC. Now SPY on the 25th. Let's see. Yeah. Now, let's see what I start with. Facebook puts at open. Okay. Was it at open? Yeah, right at open. I said on the 24th. Hopefully I get the days right. Okay. I said pre-market Wednesday, Microsoft calls over 338, Facebook puts under 334, SPY calls over 467. And that 467 area came up again because it dipped down. And no, obviously I'm not looking at SPY. But I grabbed them at 932, which is, I grabbed them right at the bottom. Oh yeah, right here, right there. I'm looking at the wrong thing. 334. I did grab it right here, right at a little early. I was using this level 334 from previous day's lows, but I got it a tad bit early. Sometimes I like to grab things before they break the level, because when you have the level break, it ends up having a massive move. And I just, if you chase the move after it breaks the level, you're just chasing too much. So sometimes I like to get prematurely in anticipation of a break. So those Facebook puts from 330, the 330 puts at $1.83 went to $2.30 in that little move. Then it had a really massive bounce. I was actually surprised at that, but yeah. Then I had SPY calls. Let's bring up SPY. Yeah, SPY likes that 467 level again. I got SPY. The alerts blended in with each other again. I really hate that it does that. It's at 936. Got a rate in here, right there. Drop back down, started getting bought up from the previous day's lows, and then that's where I ended up grabbing the SPY calls at $1, and they went from $1 to $2.49. So they went to 100% plus. So that was a nice little move. Then we had, before I get into the next one, I did manage to miss Roku. I had a Roku play. Let's see, I had Roku at on Tuesday. What time was Roku? 9:47. Right, blow this up. I got it right here, thinking we were going to bounce. Now Roku, I've been playing Roku kind of like loosely lately, like last week and this week. Well, last week and the week before, because today's Sunday. But I've been playing it where I just get one set of calls and that's it. Because if you just keep chasing every time it pops, because it pops and drops, and I just rather get one and just hold it and see if it just actually ends up doing well. Because I still think that Roku is going to have one of these monster $20, $30 days, but it's just not happening. So I've been buying calls last week and the week before just once, instead of trying to buy it and taking a bunch of losers because of Roku not acting right and not having those monster days. So I just take it once and that's it. And if it has those $20, $30 moves, it's going to do well with the calls, but it just didn't. So I did grab it here, and Roku just kept, it did pop up, but I had 240 calls, and was it 240? Yeah, 240 calls. So if it did make its run, it's at 230, 231. Clearly a $20 move would put it $250 plus. So they would have been deep in the money, but it just didn't happen. I think it's going to end up happening this week, though, because look at the hourly, get an inverted head and shoulders right there. But anyways, we'll get back to Wednesday, which the next one was Microsoft. I had Microsoft, let's see, did I have anything in the Trade Ideas channel? Microsoft over 337. What was the time? 10:31. And I called it 10:31, let's see. Which is right here. It didn't break the level, it dropped, came back, and I did grab it right here at 11:25. This is where I grabbed it thinking it was going to break, and it just dropped, and it finally popped. So they went from 120 to 158 in that move right there. It didn't quite, Theta just, the chop just ate up the price. So yeah, Theta did its work right in here. I was expecting a little cup and handle right here to actually take off, but it didn't work out. So then we had FOMC, which I had a strangle. I had the 47.05 calls at $1.70, and I had the 46.80 puts at $1.70. So it's kind of rare that I had puts and calls at the same price. I don't think that's ever happened, but I had it right here. Placed it at 150. Obviously, FOMC is at 2 o'clock, so I usually place it like 5 minutes, 10 minutes ahead of time. So the 405 calls did go from 170 to 215, and the puts did go from 170 to 610. So it was a very profitable move. It dumped hard it opened and it bounced back up. So usually there was no Powell. I was expecting, sometimes when you expect FOMC to be a major mover, sometimes it just doesn't, or it just, like the last FOMC, you expected a big dump and it just squeezed like crazy. So that caught me off guard. So then I was saying throughout the week, because it's a short week and there's no Powell, there's no this, watch there be a surprise or something. And I mean, it was nothing substantial, but it would move pretty well considering that there was really no Powell and stuff like that. So it did drop and then pop back up and recover. So the FOMC did actually end up working out pretty good. Then I ended up grabbing puts again. Let's see, at 229, which is right here. Now, you had this at this particular point in time, that it dropped down, popped back up, did this little retracement right here that I've always talked about. It dropped, pop up, came up 50%. Then it had this another red candle right here, and I thought for sure we were going to dump, right? So I grabbed it again because I already sold my puts right in here, right down here. So when it came back up, I thought, okay, I'm going to reload, get closer to the money. Actually, I didn't. I got 46.75 puts at this point in time. I figured I'd reload, get them again. I got them at $2.10, and it was going to dump. And it actually, I think it was at the money, or close to at the money at that time. And it was going to dump again because it dropped, popped back up, did its 50% retracement, and then came back down violently again. I was like, okay, it's going to dump. And it didn't. So I took a loss there. Then I ended up grabbing them again. I grabbed puts again, the 46.95 puts at 333, which is right here. Now, came back up, made new high a day, and you had this little nasty candle right here, retraced back up. I grabbed it right there. So I grabbed the 46.95 puts at $1.60. And they ended up going from $1.60 to $2.05. Not much of a move. We got like 45 cents out of it. So kind of, pleased with the day. I kind of really got baited into this move right here, but it is what it is. So then we have Thanksgiving. So then Friday, let's see, Friday, I really thought Amazon was going to take off. We had a massive gap down from the new strain of COVID. And while SPY is gapped down, ES is down quite a bit. Well, how much did SPY gap down? I think SPY gapped down quite a bit. Let's see, where did it actually open? It was up at we'll say 470, and it opened up down here. So it dropped like $8. So SPY dropped $8 in the morning. Amazon actually gapped up. And being Black Friday and weekend sales and stuff like that, and Cyber Monday, that, plus with threats of the new COVID and lockdowns and stuff like that, Amazon, some of these stocks do really well during lockdowns and threats like that. That I thought for sure that Amazon was to take off. Now I didn't buy it up here. I waited for the pullback because it popped initially. Then it retraced back, and that's what I ended up grabbing. I grabbed the 3,700 calls at 380. Then it just dumped, and then I ended up stopping out at like $1. So it just, I really thought for sure it was going to hold and take off, but it just didn't. So I really thought Amazon was going to have a strong day, and just it didn't. So then I ended up playing SPY puts. Let's see, at 945, which is right here. Right there, right in here. Popped up, came back down, broke pre-market lows right in here, and that's where I ended up grabbing it to 461. I actually played SPY this time because I think SPX was too expensive because it's such the massive drop that they were just really, really, really expensive. I think at the money, calls and puts were like $11 if I remember correctly. And usually they are right around $6 to $8, so they were up quite a bit. So I did grab the SPY, and the SPY did go from 142 to 305 in that dump. So then I ended up grabbing SPX calls at 1226, which is right 1226. Where are you? Right here, right there. Yeah, right here. Drop back down. You can also see that studying the make a little bit of a rounded bottom right here. I like looking for those, and then when you get these little rounded bottoms right here, I usually like try to make sure it breaks the actual lower high, which is this right here. So I grabbed it right in here. To me, that tells me it's a little stronger. It's got conviction to make a trend reversal, and plus, I was also thinking that we had such a huge gap down that they might try to recover a lot of the move on Fridays, the end of the week. But they didn't quite really. So, but yeah, the calls did go from 190 to $4.10. That was a nice little push. Then it had the end of the day dump right here. So yeah, I kind of probably should have played that, but only had 4 losses for the week. A couple, I don't really think that my 4 losses were too bad, as far as, I didn't get trapped too much as like I've done in the past. Amazon was kind of a bad one, but overall, good week. I don't know what next week's going to bring, or actually this week, because it's Sunday. We'll have to see how our futures open up tonight and what happens tomorrow. So I was looking at weekend Wall Street, and they were down like 240 points or something like that. And I looked this morning, and they were only down like 30 points. So recovered a lot of it. So we'll have to see. Maybe SPY ES opens up flat or slightly down. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens at 6 o'clock and see what happens this week. That's why you need to be in the room, because a lot of things change on these gap up and gap down. So yeah, that's going to do it for the recap, and thanks for watching.